What is up? This is the Couch Bros, and we're back for another NFL-centric podcast. I have my boy, my brother from another Rod in the building with me right now. Go ahead, Rod.
It's your boy Rob, man, and I am very excited on this podcast me and Herbo are doing today.
All right, so in today's episode, like I said, me and Rod were big NFL fans, so we're going to have a very NFL-centric episode, and we wanted to do a little different. We got a two-part series. We're going to go ahead and break it down. So we're going to start with the AFC and who we think are the 6 contenders of the AFC. In the following episode, we're going to do the NFC. So in this episode, let's go ahead and get it. We're going to have a question for each team that we think is a contender. Each one, a separate question, not what can you do this year, blah, 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 blah. Football, at the end of the day, it's a game that everybody plays, all 32 teams play, but every team is unique. So we have questions for each team. So what do you think about that, Rod?
Well, my man, first and foremost, I am super excited that football is back, and we got started last week. Herb, the thing about football, I think that goes... Well, I'm not going to say it goes fucking, under the radar. Everybody knows this. Football is a sport where every team, like, it gives you life every year. Like, it's not like basketball. But, like, for example, when you look at the NBA landscape was, the Golden State Warriors and the Cleveland Cavs and LeBron was on it. We're going to the finals. The NFL gives us so much diversity in who can be, like, there's hope. Like, every year you can have hope depending on how you draft, depending on who you acquire in the offseason. The culmination of all that brings us to this point. And we're just going to go ahead and just jump into this. I know some of y'all been anticipating this. By the way, I'd like to appreciate all the compliments.
Yeah, definitely.
That we have gotten. You know, Herb and I both have separately gotten, compliments on the podcast, on the anime pod, on the NFL pods, and we appreciate all the support. And we continue to keep growing. Now, to begin, we have 6 questions for these 6 contenders who will reveal, one by one. And to start, this is probably the most obvious one. We have the reigning defending champions, the New England Patriots.
Why won't they fucking die, bro?
Bruh, honestly, and those of you who know and those of you who don't know, I'm a Dolphin fan. So to see these niggas, my division rivals, a team that I revile, I just despise these niggas. To see them in the running every year, it's gotten to the point where I'm just like, I now know what it feels like to be a boxer in the ring and just get outclassed and just say fuck it. Like, I'm Roberto Duran, bro. No mas. You know what I'm saying? Like, it is what it is, But one of the big reasons why the Patriots are a nuisance to not just Dolphins fans but to the NFL every year, Tom Brady. And the question we have, ironically enough, is for my man Tom Brady, when is this nigga gonna get old, Herb?
I thought he was going to get old 4 years ago when he got his ass kicked by the Alex Smith Chiefs. And I think it was like 36 to some number. And I thought that's when it was over. Like, I fell for the trap at that time. I was like, I think Max Kellerman is right. And if you are a real sports fan and you listen to First Take, Max Kellerman has been dying on this sword that Tom Brady's going to fall off the cliff for 6 years in a row. And Tom Brady keeps making him look like a fucking jackass, bro.
Him and Rob Parker, bro.
Oh, don't even get me started on Rob. That's not even worth our time right now. But when is he gonna I don't know, act like a 42-year-old quarterback? I have no idea. Like, as crazy it is, he gets so much publicity for being that age, but Drew Brees is fucking 40.
Right, he's right behind him.
He's right behind him. Big Ben is old as shit. Big Ben came in the league in 2004. Phillip Rivers came in 2004. Eli Manning is the only one from that draft class that acts like his age and what kind of quarterback he should be at this age. So it's not just a Tom Brady thing. All these dudes are really fucking old, and all these dudes clearly don't like being at home because they just want to be on a fucking football field and get hit for a living, dog. So I really don't know, Rod. I honestly cannot answer that question. So there were signs of a decline. Even in the Super Bowl, even in the playoff game, they won the Super Bowl. They won that playoff game against the Chiefs. People don't remember. If D Ford doesn't jump off sides, the Chiefs win that game. He threw a pick.
That would have been the third pick too.
That would have been the third pick of the game against a very bad Chiefs defense. So there were signs of decline. That's why Bill Belichick deserves credit, because he sees Tom Brady, watches film on Tom Brady 80 day. Why do you think they drafted Sony Michel?
Well, the beauty of Bill Belichick's genius is, as we spoke about it in the show planning yesterday, Herb, and you probably put it in the best way anybody can put it. Belichick is just exceptional at seeing what's gonna come ahead of, like, 2 years ahead. And the one thing that the Patriots don't get enough credit for is y'all have to understand, and I'm gonna say this coming from the heart as a Dolphin fan. I've had to watch year after year of bad offensive line play. Bad to just horrific, god awful offensive line play. Like, I can name guys. You know what I'm saying? Like, I like Jesse James. I'm looking at you, and there's plenty of other guys. Like, we've had some terrible offensive linemen, but the Patriots year after year have been able to protect Tom Brady. And not only that, their offensive linemen are not only good at protecting the quarterback, they were able to give Sony Michel. I mean, Sony Michel had 2 100-yard performances in the playoffs. Like, the Patriots were able to kind of neutralize Tom Brady's decline with a steady dose of running the football, with a strong offensive line. They lost their left tackle, Trent Brown. He went to the Raiders. He did a great job against the Chargers, who we'll talk about later, and against the Chiefs pass rushers. But they still, the Patriots are just a plug-and-play team. Even with Dontrell Inman in the receiving core, Tom Brady going to make him look like a viable number 2 option. You know what I mean? So the one thing we should say about the Patriots, and this is another part of their team that, people don't really talk about as much because there aren't big names on it, but their defense, bro, like, Belichick just knows how to coach guys up, bro. Like, I just don't understand how he's able to just, he has just a bunch of, obviously these are NFL talented guys. Even without a pass rush, like, they lost Trey Flowers, who was their number 1 pass rusher, who, Trey Flowers isn't, like a spectacular player, but he was really good for the Patriots. Anybody else didn't have more than 4.5 sacks. They have no pass rush, but they still have the McCourty twins, who, even though they're getting kind of old, they're still playing. Stephen Gilmore, he was a former Bill. He played. He was excellent.
He was
last year.
All-Pro last year.
Yeah, he was an All-Pro last year.
So basically, what you're saying is Tom Brady isn't going to age because the team around him is too smart to let him age.
That's it.
Like, the team, the infrastructure, the way they coach their players, because the sum is not greater than the whole, and that's how the Patriots attack every situation. And to finish the thought I was having earlier or whatnot, as far as why do you think they drafted Sony Michel? They drafted Sony Michel because they were like, everybody's going this way, we're going to go back to a power run game. And I know my quarterback can't be out here throwing 40 passes a game anymore. I've seen, maybe it's just something very, very sly, but this ain't the first time that Belichick didn't have the foresight to see something. He traded Lawyer Malloy before Lawyer Malloy was old. He had a really good year, 1 good year with the Bills, and then he immediately got old. He traded Richard Seymour in the prime of his career. Richard Seymour had 1 good year, and then he got old. So there might be a little chink in Tom Brady's armor that Bill Belichick's genius might say is like, okay, that pass isn't coming out as fast as it was. You know what I'm saying? That read, he didn't make that read as fast as he normally does. We're going to go start running this shit down people's throats. And I want you to do something about it. Just the same way where I was one of the first people to say, we're going to take tight ends and attack the field. 5 years before everybody was doing that, we're going to make our passing game an extension of our running game and just pass to the flat and pass to our running backs all game. 3 years before everybody thought it was a good idea to do that, I'm going to go back to running the ball while everybody has smaller linebackers, smaller safeties to cover tight ends and stuff like that. Now these dudes aren't 260 pounds no more at linebacker. They're 220, 230. I can run on you now. And that makes my quarterback age even better.
Bill Belichick, man, the guys, he's just intuitive. I don't think there's ever been a coach more intuitive than him.
Yeah, because when people always say Bill Belichick isn't smarter than fucking Bill Walsh. Bill Belichick isn't smarter than Andy Reid. Bill Belichick isn't smarter than fucking Jimmy Johnson. What he is he's more aware than every other coach that's ever existed on a professional football level. He knows what's going to happen. He always thinks about 3 years down the road, which is why they had a 20-year dynasty.
God, Bro, greatest sports dynasty ever.
It has to be. In a salary cap era where I can't even think outside of the Patriots what team went back-to-back Super Bowls. I can't even think of the other team besides the Patriots, bro. What is it, the fucking Cowboys in the fucking 90s? Like, I don't even know, bro.
Yeah, I think it was.
You're not. It's designed to not let this shit happen.
Right. Repeat winners in football is
It's designed not to let people keep going and keep doing this, but they keep fucking doing this. And it's very, very annoying if you're a fan of any other team besides the Patriots. But did we answer the question? Yeah, we did. Yeah, we did. We definitely did. We definitely did. And in short, the answer is Bill Belichick's really smart. Tom Brady is smart. Everybody who works for the fucking Patriots is smart. And they're 5 steps ahead of every other team in the fucking league. That's so yes, Tom Brady will not age.
According to the Patriots and their robots, bro.
All right. So now we got the Patriots. I do have a question. So it's gonna be my turn. My question is gonna be for the Browns. And the question I have for the Browns is they've never been here before. The Browns have they've never been in this position where they're expected to win the Super Bowl. They're expected to go deep in the playoffs. Are they able to handle that kind of hype? Is what I'm asking. I want to say yes. If you would have asked me this 2 weeks ago, I 100% would have said. But the more that these guys talk, the more I just see a team that might really be feeling themselves, that might fall apart if they get punched in the mouth. I don't want that to happen because this team is really fun and has a lot of players that I like. Baker Mayfield. I love Baker Mayfield. He's a fucking asshole. They have Myles Garrett. That dude's a monster. They have Nick Chubb. They have Kareem Hunt. They have David Njoku. They have Odell Beckham Jr. If I'm saying Odell Beckham Jr. fifth, not because he's the 5th person that comes to my mind. Odell Beckham, one of the most talented players I've ever seen in my life. It's just that many talented players on that roster. I don't even have to say him 2nd or 3rd, bro.
Yeah, that's crazy to think about.
Denzel Ward is going to be an all-pro cornerback in probably a year. They have an all-pro caliber player at every level. Yeah. So the talent is not the issue. It's, are these niggas really feeling themselves? Are they going to skip the process? The process is to work for it. You know what I'm saying? Are they going to win 2-3 games and really think it's easy just because they out-talent somebody, bro? You know what I'm saying? So in your opinion, what do you think of that?
Well, you're very right when you say that the Browns are basically on the moon right now, bro. They are now finally in discussion. Herb, y'all have to understand, like, football fans, this ain't your daddy's Browns. This ain't your mama's Browns. This ain't even our Browns.
Yeah, this is not even our Browns. My Browns is Derek Anderson and whatever, like in 2007 with Rayla Edwards. Like, I can't. And them winning, I think they won 10 games, and that's literally it. That's the only time I've ever seen a winning season with the Browns. Like, I don't even understand this, bro. Like, the only good Brown teams is the Ravens. Like, like, they literally packed up the entire team and went to a fucking other city twice. It happened with Cincinnati and it happened with the Ravens. They lost their team twice. So if you are just growing up, you don't understand how ridiculous it is to see the Browns with this kind of hype and this warranted hype, because the Browns are not supposed to be good. The Browns in the matrix of the NFL were literally designed by the football gods to be a laughingstock. So nobody knows how to treat this shit.
Bruh, it's honestly surreal when you think, like, people have to understand, there has been no team I've ever seen in my lifetime that has been so allergic to not winning like the Browns. They won 1 game in 2 years. The following year, bro, these niggas were so allergic to losing, they couldn't even start 0-3. They had to start 0-2-1, bro.
0-2-1. They just could not win a fucking game, bro.
And then, like out of a movie, a hero emerges on Thursday Night Football. Tyrod Taylor. I remember watching this game, bro. Tyrod Taylor was playing awful. And Baker Mayfield comes with the comeback. He wins, and the Browns go 7-6 the rest of the season.
And that's the crazy part. Like, I'm gonna get to that because I'm gonna go ahead. I really want to show the stats with Freddie Kitchens, which is another reason why I really like the team, because Freddie Kitchens unlocked Baker Baker Mayfield's talent. Baker Mayfield was so good that he had to work in spite of Hugh Jackson. And I like Hugh Jackson. I just didn't understand how bad Hugh Jackson was until Freddie came in and cleaned that shit up. But before we get to the difference, I just want to speak on the history of the Browns itself. Like, do people understand how much things had to happen? They had to fail their way into the number one pick to get Baker Mayfield. After failing their way into the number one pick to get Myles Garrett. Like, this is not something that's overnight. Like, there were so many factors that had to happen in this. This is a product of Sashi Brown being a terrible GM, but a smart one in the sense that he just kept collecting talent. Because at the end of the day, if I get a whole bunch of chances to draft, somebody has to be good, even for the Browns.
It has to hit at some point.
Somebody has to hit, bro.
At some point, yeah.
He wasn't the guy that should have been picking the players. Come in John Dorsey, who came from the Chiefs, who built the Chiefs along with Andy Reid. So that guy knows fucking talent. So you give John Dorsey's talent evaluation with the old regime's ideology of getting a whole bunch of picks and acquiring capital, and this is what you get. In 2 years, this dude changed the whole fucking roster, bro. You know what I'm saying? And now let's get to Baker Mayfield. Like, Hugh Jackson was really bad. There's a day, January 31st is, what's it called, the day? It's Browns Day, right? Is it January 31st? 1-31, bro. 131. It's a holiday in Cleveland, bro. 131 is a holiday in Cleveland. January 31st is a holiday in Cleveland.
They went 1-15 and 0-16.
Because they won
back.
One game in 2 years, bro.
Oh my God.
That is almost mathematically impossible, and they did it. And this is the same team that is supposed to win the Super Bowl now. So I'm just trying to get a hold of everything right now, bro.
Bro, and it's impossible to get a hold of it because it doesn't make sense.
It does not make sense. My mind can't allow me to process a good Browns team, bro. I just feel like no matter how much talent they have, something has to go wrong unless Baker Mayfield is really that dude, bro. And speaking of him, let's just go ahead and look at the stats. Like, with Hugh Jackson and with Freddie Kitchens. Freddie Kitchens, even though he talks like an old Southern boy, that dude knows his fucking offense, bro. Like, like fam knows his fucking offense, dog. Hold on, let me get that shit pulled up. Give me 1 second, y'all.
I'm taking a look at the Browns schedule, right? Because, you know, they're Super Bowl favorites. So while Herb is looking it up, I just want to pick your brain a little bit, Herb. What do you think about it? What do you think about the schedule? They start at home against the Titans. They're at the Jets versus the Rams.
All right, so go one by one. Let's do it one by one.
All right, so they start versus the Titans.
Oh, Browns easy. You think I'm finna bet on Marcus Mariota? You sleep.
All right,
Stop it.
What about the Jets? At Jets. See, I think that's a tough one. I don't hate Adam Gase. I actually did not think Adam Gase did a bad job, but I can't speak. You're the Dolphins fan, so you No. Adam Gase's problem wasn't the X's and O's. His problem was the everything else. You know what I'm saying? He couldn't get along with the organization. Yeah. He couldn't get along with the owner. Couldn't get along with the players. Like, no matter how smart you are, if people don't like you, it's not going to work.
Yeah, big facts for sure. So, I think they're going to lose that game just because of football. I just think they're going to lose that game because of football. So I got them 1-1 at the 2 games.
All right, third game versus Rams at home.
At home?
Yeah.
Give me the Browns. I'll take the Browns.
Then the next 2 games on the road. First is Ravens.
I still like the Browns.
49ers.
I like the Browns. What is that, 4-1 already?
Yeah.
I'm giving you 4-1. All you got to do is win 4 more games out of what, 12 or 4? You know what I'm saying? That's so
4-1. And then, but their next later games goes Seahawks at home.
I still like the Browns.
Patriots they're at Patriots.
I'm going to give it the Patriots just because I think Freddie Kitchens is going to get his ass whipped that game. But I'm not even going to get into depth because we got the whole season to do that. We could pick games. So
at that point they're about what, 5-2, 6-2?
5-2, 6-2. So yeah, halfway through the season they could relatively be 6-2 if all things go according to plan. And I really don't see why it shouldn't. And now I got the stats pulled up. So this is just jarring what Baker Mayfield was with Hugh Jackson and what he is and what he could continue to be with Freddie Kitchens. Weeks 1 through 8 under Hugh Jackson, 36 QBR. The baseline for QBR, if anybody doesn't know what that is, that's everything involved as for quarterback play. The median is 50. He was at 36, bro. You know what I'm saying? Completion percent, 58. You don't want to be under 60% completion. He was 58. 6.6 yards per attempt. That's not bad. That's not great. 3.6 touchdown percentage. That means 3% of his passes went for a touchdown. That's not good. Like, that's not good. And then he had a 8% sack percentage. 8. So on 8% of his dropbacks, every 8 dropbacks, he's getting sacked. You know what I'm saying? So that's just, I don't know what it was about Hugh. I don't hate Hugh, but it just didn't click. Now insert Freddie Kitchens, weeks 9 through week 17, 70 QBR. That's 20%. That's 20 points above the median. 68% completion percentage. That's insane. Almost 7 out of 10 passes he's completing. 8.6 yards per attempt. Every 2 yards, you're getting 16 yards of play. Every 2 passes. 7% of his passes went for a touchdown, and the sack percentage went all the way down to 8. The same team, the same personnel, but the numbers are drastically different. So that right there, if he's able to continue on that, like, the sky's the fucking limit, dude. You know? So, long story short, I definitely do want to believe in the fucking Chiefs. I really want to believe in the Chiefs. I mean, the Browns, because they're just a fun ass team. So yes, I'm gonna say yes, they will live up to the hype. What about you, Rod?
Herb, I'm gonna go on and I'm gonna say, I'm not gonna lie. Throughout the offseason, because I hadn't really like dove into them. I was just like, I wasn't really digging it. But now that I've like looked into their team and I'm looking at their roster, bro, and I'm thinking to myself, like, they have so many weapons on offense. They have a defense on like, look at who's on their defense, bro. They have Myles Garrett. They have Olivier Vernon, who he was the number 1 pass rusher for the Giants. Niggas ain't worried about him right now. They worried about Myles Garrett.
If I got to worry about Myles Garrett, then after that, I'm going to worry about Sheldon Richardson before I even get to Olivier Vernon. So Olivier Vernon is going to have free reigns to do whatever the fuck he wants. He's not going to ever see a double team again in his life.
It's unreal. And then they had the rookie Denzel Ward, who was a beast. They added Greedy Williams opposite. We'll see what I think he's going to be good. I think he'll be good for them. I mean, their defense is fortified, bro. When you look at the Browns, dog, like on offense and defense, they have studs all over.
They have so many ways to attack you. David Njoku is a stud tight end that looks like a fucking bodybuilder. They have
Jarvis Landry who can cut in.
They have Jarvis Landry to dominate the middle of the field. They have OBJ to go over the top. And they have Kareem Hunt coming in week 8, bro. On top of having Nick Chubb.
Nick Chubb was he balled out.
So they're just loaded everywhere, bro. There's no reason why they shouldn't live up to the hype.
The only concern that you could probably have for them is that their offensive line might not be as good as it was last year. But I mean, Baker Mayfield can make up for that anyway. He's one of those electric kind of quarterbacks.
I mean, he should. He really should. If he can't make up for it, then I'm going to just forget everything that I learned about football and just say, hey, fuck it. Fuck paper. Fuck whatever roster you put together. Because if that team doesn't win 10 games, I don't know what Browns team you could ever put on the fucking field to win 10 games, bro.
And just for shits and giggles, you were at, 5-2, 6-2. In the back half of their schedule, they get the Bengals twice.
Oh, yeah.
They get the Dolphins.
Oh.
My team. They get fucking, I think they get the Steelers twice, but they'll win. They'll take one of those games.
They're going to split. They're going to split with the Steelers.
You know what I mean? So,
sure.
they're going to win 10, 11 games, maybe even 12.
Good thing that you mentioned the Steelers. The Steelers is one of the teams that we do think is going to be a contender, and I know you have a question for the Steelers. So what is your question for the 2019 versions of the Steelers, sir?
Well, when we date back to last season, anybody who was keeping up, the Steelers were definitely one of the drama queens of the NFL last year in their storylines. But two of the biggest things that happened in the NFL were subtractions to their roster. Le'Veon Bell going to the Jets, Antonio Brown being traded to the Raiders. So now we're left with Big Ben, who obviously has been a Hall of Famer throughout his career. He got 2 rings, right, Ben?
Yeah, he got 2 rings.
He got 2 rings. You know what I'm saying? He's been a perennial Pro Bowler. And then you got Juju Smith-Schuster. And then you got James Conner, who burst onto the scene last season. And I just want to take a minute before I go on. I gotta look at, because Big Ben had such a great season, bro. Juju Smith-Schuster. This man caught 111 passes for 1426, bro. 111 passes, bro. Like James Conner, I think he ran for, let me see here. I had it right over here. I think James Conner ran for 1,200 yards, if I'm not mistaken. Let me see. Sorry, y'all. Looking at my notes here. I collected a lot of notes for this podcast.
Bro, if you can see this dude, this nigga's just going through a sea of notes, bro. I got you. You know what I'm saying? We're going to use the power of Google real quick, dog.
Yeah, bro.
Bet that up. Pro Football Focus or Pro Football Reference. You know, that's my dog real quick. You know what I'm saying? I got you, dog.
Hey, Pro Football Reference.
Let's see. Fam had 1,100 yards. I take that back. My apologies. That's his career. He had 973, averaged 4.5 yards a carry, and he had 12 touchdowns just rushing. So Fam was really doing his thing. Like, he really got off. And the crazy part is, if they just ran the ball more, he easily could have got 1,200 yards. I was looking at the stats for Big Ben, and it just doesn't make any sense for a team to pass this much. He led the league in completions, pass attempts, pass completions, passing yards per game, passing yards in the season. It was ridiculous. They passed on 68% of the time. Like, out of all their plays that they ran, 68% of them were a passing play versus 32 that was a running play. And on the road, which you think would be the opposite, no, it actually increased. It went from 68 to 70% passing on the road. So James Conner easily could have had 1,000 yards. He only played 13 games, and he got 973, averaged 4 yards a carry. You average that out, he's at 1,200 easy. So back to the question that you're having for the Steelers. What exactly is the question?
The question I do have for the Steelers, we got caught up in the two new members of the Trinity. Compared to the old Trinity when we had Big Ben, Antonio Brown, and Le'Veon Bell, Big Ben obviously is the captain of the ship, but now he has two new running mates. Herb, do we believe that they can still make it back to the promised land, to the Super Bowl?
No, I don't ever think they're going to make it to the Super Bowl again. Like, I just don't believe in the Steelers. But that's just a separate discussion. Like, I just don't believe in those dudes, bro. Like honestly, why do we still just automatically make them a Super Bowl contender? I get it. They're talented. They're a really good fucking team. But when's the last time they even been to the AFC Championship?
Gosh, it's been a few years, bro.
We just automatically slot them in. You know what I'm saying? Every time they play the Patriots in the playoffs since what? I don't even remember. Since what, 2000? Because the last time they went to the Super Bowl was in 2011. They lost to the Packers. They had a really good run. They won in 05. They won in 08. They won in 11. It's 2019, fam.
Yeah, it's been a hot little minute.
It's been a hot little fucking minute, bro.
And then the last time they were in an AFC Championship game, I think the Patriots just completely just destroyed them.
Yeah, I don't want to go into that because like I said, I'm just going off of memory. There's probably a Steelers fan, Matt, and all our homeboys, Sunshine, all y'all boys. I probably want to beat the fuck out of us. So we could be completely wrong, and I'm fine. Fuck your team. Who cares? Fuck your fucking yellow flag that you wipe your ass with. I don't care. Okay.
Oh man.
But to answer the question, I don't know about the promised land, but this team is showing you that they know they can get good players. Like, this is the same team. Like, Big Ben has played with Jerome Bettis. Big Ben has played with Rashad Mendenhall. Like, that guy got 1,200 yards. Jerome Bettis is in the Hall of Fame. What's the one constant in that? Big Ben. Big Ben has played with Mike, the one that went to your team. The receiver that went to your team.
Oh, Mike Wallace.
Mike Wallace. He's played with Antonio Brown. He's played with Antoine Randall L. He's played with Hines Ward. He's playing with Emmanuel Sanders.
Yeah,
like
God.
Now he has Juju Smith-Schuster. Now he has James Washington. Like, whatever you want to say about the Steelers, they know how to develop running backs. They damn sure know how to develop wide receivers,
bro. Oh,
like,
man.
Antonio Brown was a 6th-round pick. Yeah, you got to make yourself into an all-pro. You got to make yourself into a Hall of Famer. But they know how to fucking teach you how to fucking run routes over there, bro. Mike Wallace has never been as good as he was since he was with the Steelers. Emmanuel Sanders was only good with the Broncos because he had Peyton Manning. Once he lost Peyton Manning, who the fuck was he? He was the shit when he was with the Steelers. You know what I'm saying? So I definitely believe in the new Trinity. But is the new Trinity going to get you to the promised land? I don't know. I like their rookie, Devin Bush. That dude's a monster. He's fast as shit. And I'm always going to root for anybody from the crib, Broward County. You already know how we do. You know what I'm saying? But the promised land, I don't know about that. Go ahead.
And sorry to cut you off. I like that you brought up Devin Bush because he's the guy, because, sorry to say, Ryan Shazier.
Obviously, my condolences as well.
Yeah. He's never going to be able to play again. But Devin Bush was the guy that they got to kind of take his spot. You know what I'm saying? And when Shazier was playing, their defense was playing at a pretty good level. The thing with the Steelers is though, man, can you trust it? They have a good defensive line. You know what I'm saying? They have. Hold on a second.
They do have a good defensive line. They led the league in sacks last year.
Right.
But you know what bit them in the ass? They didn't get no fucking turnovers.
No turnovers, man. One of the prime culprits is a guy they like to call Artie Burns. My man, I know my Steelers fans. They understand. They understand the disappointment that Artie Burns is. I mean, the Steelers signed Steven Nelson to play across from Joe Hayden. So maybe their secondary might be a little better this year. I don't know. Joe Hayden played pretty well for them last year. We'll see how this man is this season coming up. But I'd like to think that the Steelers can make it to the prom. I don't even think they're the best team in the division.
No, I don't think they're the best team in the division either. But like I said, we're gonna let that play out on the field.
Of course.
And speaking of the Steelers, okay. So long story short, you think they go to the Super Bowl? Yes or no?
Do I think? Nah. They're not making it. You want to know why? Because they're not making it past. They've never shown me they could beat the Patriots in the playoffs. I don't see them beating Mahomes and the Chiefs. They're gonna run into one of these guys in the playoffs.
You know what I think is gonna happen? I think they're gonna play the Browns 3 times.
You think they'll run into the Browns?
I think they're gonna play the Browns 3 times. I think they're gonna split and then they're gonna play each other in the playoffs because they're both making the playoffs, in my opinion. Unless the Steelers just fall apart. But I think because they're gonna be so amped to prove.
We don't need no AB.
We don't need Antonio Brown. We don't need Le'Veon Bell. Like, I know James Conner's going to play his ass off. I know James Washington, Juju, all them boys going to play his ass off. So I don't think they're going to fall back. Like, there's a lot of people who are fans of Le'Veon and they want to take his side. And there are a lot of people who were fans of AB before this whole helmet shit happened that were like, oh, they need him. I don't think that. Like, their history shows that they can plug players in. Is they're going to ever find a player as good as Antonio Brown? Probably not. That's the guy's historically good. But you don't need historically good. They didn't win the Super Bowl with Antonio Brown. They never even made the Super Bowl with Antonio Brown.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So, yeah, I think they're going to make the playoffs. It's just I don't know what they're going to do. I think they're just going to lose in the playoffs and whatever, you know what I'm saying? And they're going to just wave their fucking tail, blah, 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 yo. And then say, oh, well, we have 6 Super Bowls. Well, you're not alone anymore because now the Patriots got 6 too. So shut the fuck up. All right.
Stairway to 7, guys. Stairway to 7. Oh, man.
All right. So I'm definitely going to go to the next team. My next team that I have a question for, and they don't get talked about a lot, which is a good thing for them because they're a West Coast team. God forbid if this team ever played on the East Coast. Their reputation and how they'd be viewed would be so fucking different, dude. So different. Like, this quarterback and this team should thank the fucking heavens that geography placed them on the West Coast so they don't have to deal with the East Coast media every fucking day. This team that I'm talking about right now is the fucking Chargers, bro. And the question I have for the LA Chargers, I'm sorry. Y'all niggas are still San Diego to me, but whatever. I'll be politically correct. The Sandy, see, I can't even fucking do it. Bro,
it's like a reflex.
Yeah, it's
bro.
a reflex, dog. Like, it's a reflex. It's a fucking reflex.
Couldn't help himself.
The LA Chargers. When the fuck will you stop breaking your fan base's heart? Like, you guys go 12-4 to get your ass kicked in the playoffs again. Come on, bruh.
And you know what? The thing about the Chargers is, and I'll say this about the Chargers, they specialize in breaking their fans' hearts in different ways, bro. Because like in previous years, they've had the injury bug worse than just about anybody I can think of, especially on their offensive line. Year after year, they lose like 2-3 starting offensive linemen. Phillip Rivers is end up running for his life. You know, Keenan Allen was hurt his first 4 years. This man got hurt. It's only the past 2 seasons he's actually been healthy. They finally got him going. So now, finally, the Chargers, the stars align for the Chargers. Rivers is healthy. They have Keenan Allen. They have the new receiver, Mike Williams, who caught, I believe, 13 touchdowns. Or, somewhere around 11, 12, 13 touchdowns in that range. You know, they have, well, Melvin Gordon is holding out, but they still have Austin Eckler and Justin Johnson. They are a deep team. Their offensive line is still a little suspect. But you look at at the way Phillip Rivers played last year. This man threw for 4,300 yards, 32 touchdowns, only 12 picks. He had his best completion percentage, I believe, 68%, and he was 8.5 yards per attempt. Like, this man balled out last year. Like, and then we're just talking about the offense. You go to their defense. They have arguably probably the best duo of edge rushers in the league between Joey Bosa, and Melvin Ingram. Melvin Ingram in the past 4 seasons has 36 sacks.
Yeah, that's crazy.
That's incredible. Joey Bosa, he had 5.5 last year, but he missed half the season with a foot injury. Prior to that, he was balling. I think he had 12.5 sacks the year prior. Damn, bro, they have talent all over the board. You look at, they had Derwin James,
defensive rookie of the year.
Rookie of the year.
They actually led the league with 7 Pro Bowlers. Like, so I don't ever want to hear that this dude doesn't have talent, this guy, Phillip Rivers. And I'm a Phillip Rivers fan. But at some point, like, we got to start pointing the blame on him. That's why I said he's so lucky that he doesn't have the East Coast bias. It's a double-edged sword because nobody understands how great he is because nobody's watching him on that side unless you live on that side of the country. However, nobody talks about how bad he's been in the playoffs as well. Look at this. First playoff game. Went 14 for 32 against the Patriots. 230 yards. 1 pick. Yeah, he won his next playoff game that he played in, but it was versus the fucking Titans. You're not going to win that? Come on, dog. Be real with yourself, bro. Another loss to the Patriots. 19 for 37. 2 picks. No touchdowns. You know what I'm saying? Loss to the Pittsburgh Steelers. 3 touchdowns. He actually played good, but he still lost. 35-24. So how much of those stats were actually fucking popcorn stats that didn't mean shit?
Bro, this nigga, I'm sorry to cut you off. This nigga was only really good against Peyton in the playoffs, bro.
Yeah, that's it. That's it. And then one of the worst playoff losses in your career. You go one and done against the fucking Jets with Mark Sanchez, bro. 14-17. You throw 2 picks. And then after that much time that you haven't made the playoffs, what do you motherfuckers do against the Patriots last year?
You know what, Herb? I just want to interject about that game. I watched that game. That was the infamous Nick Novak game where he missed those 3 field goals. No excuse.
But that's a part of it, dog. It's just,
yeah, you're right.
Okay, it's just something happens. Like when, again, you know this game, when he was killing y'all, and I think they were up like 21-3, and then he threw like 4 picks in the fourth quarter, bro.
Oh, man, that was like crazy. That's the year we made the playoffs. That was a crazy game, bro. I couldn't believe Phillip Rivers just imploded like that.
Bro, like you dominate the Ravens in the playoffs, this past playoffs. You go 12-4. You're riding a wave of success. And then you run into the Patriots, not even a good Patriots team. And you let them go 35-7 by halftime? What?
Man.
So, Chargers. When are you dudes ever gonna actually get over the fucking hump? Like, when are you gonna do this for fucking San Diego?
Or
Fuck
LA.
Nah, LA don't deserve a championship. Fuck that. They already got the Lakers. They have the Clippers. They have plenty. This is for San Diego. I want you to dig deep in your fucking hearts. And where your balls at, man? How many times could you break those dudes' hearts over there in San Diego, man? They don't have a lot. All they have is fucking taco shops over there, bro. Shout out to heaven, man.
Man said all they got is taco shops.
That's all the fuck they got, bro. And that's what you keep doing to them, dog? So yeah, my question is, and I'm going to ask it again, when will the Chargers stop breaking their fan base's heart? I think never, because why should I think any different at this point? But what about you, Rod, before we go on to our next team?
You know, I actually debated hard about this because I felt so good about the Chargers last year, and that game against the Patriots left such a bad taste in my mouth, especially considering the fact that their defensive line just couldn't do. And I'm not even gonna blame the guys on the outside because the Patriots always prepared for that. Their interior defensive line got no pressure on Tom Brady, bro. So they just allowed this old man to do whatever he wanted. But I just can't. I really wanted to say I could see the Chargers going to the Super Bowl, but I just don't think they'll stop breaking their fans' heart. No, I think they're gonna have a good season. I think they could even possibly win a division. I just don't think they're not getting over the hump this year.
All right, so we both agree that the Chargers will just be the fucking Chargers, whether in LA or San Diego or fucking bumfuck Egypt or Afghanistan Chargers. You can put them wherever the fuck you want. You can put them in fucking Idaho. They could be the Idaho Chargers. They're still going to do Charger shit. And on to our next team, and this is where I feel like I'm realizing we made a critical error. 42 minutes shouldn't go by and we get into the Chiefs. Not after the season they just had. So that's on us. We definitely apologize. Yeah, bro. Like I was just like, wait a minute. We're not gonna get to the Chiefs till 40 minutes in. What the fuck kind of planning did we do? So yeah, I'm sorry. My fucking bad. Yeah, we definitely should have got to them early. But now that we're here, I know that that's one of the teams that you had your eye on. And what is your question for the Chiefs, sir?
My question for the Chief was basically, it was Mahomes centric. Will Mahomes be able to duplicate, or not completely duplicate? And for those of you who don't know, will he be able to duplicate his success? Is my question. I don't expect Mahomes to throw for 5,097 yards again, or to throw 50 touchdowns to 12 picks. He could probably have 66, percentage completion, 8.8 yards per. The man almost had 9 yards per attempt.
Yeah, that's absurd, bro.
Yeah, like so, I'm not really, I'm not expecting him to give me that. But my question is, can we see Mahomes reaching close to that level this season in his second year starting?
In my opinion, I think he might be better, but I don't think the stats will be the same. I know you have the stats. Do you have the stats up? Because while we were talking about this the other day, while we were going over our what we were gonna basically when we were going over what we were gonna talk about and everything like that, we just looked up the stats. Like if you have 50 or you break the touchdown record, your stats just come down all the way down. It just comes back to reality. Peyton Manning, 2004, he threw 49 touchdowns. Next year he threw 28. Tom Brady, he broke Peyton Manning's record and threw 50. Next year, unfortunately, he didn't even fucking play. His fucking knee got busted up by Bernard Pollard. So who knows? But the year after that, I think he only threw 28 too.
He threw 28, yep.
You know what I'm saying? So you're gonna come down. It's just it's hard to get into that kind of zone. Peyton Manning threw 55. Next year, threw 39. The year after that, he threw fucking 9. That's a different problem in itself. He just fucking flamed out. But the history shows, and the point I'm trying to make is that you have to come back down to reality. Like at some point, you just can't be a video game on rookie for 5 years straight, bro.
A regression to the mean gonna happen.
A regression to the mean is gonna happen, but I don't think it's because he's gonna get caught or he's gonna get figured out. He's way too talented, like we said on the last pod. Way too gifted, too good, too mobile, can do things that nobody else can do. And I can honestly say that. I've seen him one year. There's things that he could do that Aaron Rodgers can't even do.
Yeah.
Aaron Rodgers can't even do that. There was a play, I think he made it against the fucking 49ers, where he was getting chased. He came all the way back around, threw across his body, and threw a dime. Maybe 2 people, 3 people ever could do that. And the reason why I say him, he's in the class by himself, because he could do it with the mobility.
Yes. The guys who were slinging the ball like that before, like Dan Marino and guys like that,
John Elway,
bro, they didn't have the mobility that this kid has, bro. The
only person I can think of this, and sorry to cut you off, is Warren Moon, and I don't know enough about Warren Moon to even speak intelligently about Warren Moon. I just know that he had that kind of talent. It's just so much of his career was in the Canadian Football League. You know what I'm saying? So, this dude's in his classes by himself. But I think he's not going to throw 50 touchdowns. He might throw 34, but the team might even be better because it's going to be smarter. The problem when you score fast and you score a lot of points is you put a very tired defense back on the field. He lost, 4 games? Their average loss that the defense gave up was no, I'll take that back. My apologies. They scored 40 points a game in their losses.
That doesn't even make sense.
They scored 39.9 points a game in their losses. That doesn't even make sense. He's the only player to have that many losses while scoring over 35 points in a game. Some people don't do that all time. Teams don't do that all time. They did it 4 times in the same season.
You got to imagine, bro, that their offense didn't score less than 26 points last season, bro.
That's insane, bro.
That's incredible. Like, I mean, it's not even just Mahomes, because obviously part of him winning the MVP last year, he had a pretty damn good supporting cast. They lost Kareem Hunt, which I think was a decent blow, but it's not. They still got Tyreek Hill.
Yeah, there's nothing that they can't come back from, bro. Who fucking cares, bro?
They got Tyreek Hill. They got Travis Kelce. They got Sammy Watkins when he feels like being healthy. Like, I mean, you look at the Chiefs off, and Mahomes to me just strikes me as the type of guy. Like, if you watch this guy play, this nigga's gonna get the ball to you, bro. He's gonna get the ball to, like, bro. I seen this man make. This man throws. He throws into the type of windows most quarterbacks avoid. You know what I'm saying? So to answer the question, yeah, I see him duplicating it. Not the same statistically, but in terms of impact.
That is where I want to agree with you. I think that he might throw 50 touchdowns, or I'm about to say it right. He might throw 34 touchdowns, but it'll feel like 50 touchdowns because it's just so impactful that instead of I'm going to get to the ball and we're at the 1 yard line and we're going to throw a touchdown because I want to throw it. I did so much damage and I broke your will getting to there that I'm going to do a 1 yard fucking turnaround and hand it off. That's still a touchdown. I don't get it, and that doesn't go on my career passing yards or my career passing touchdowns, but the way I dominated to get to that 1 yard QB running back run or whatever, it still is impactful. So I do think the impact will be the same. The numbers of touchdowns, the number of passing yards might be different. They might actually run the ball. They might actually have clock management. Andy Reid has never shown he knows even a fundamental principle of clock management in his 30 years in the NFL, but maybe it might be different this year. Who knows? But I do think that the team will be as dominant without scoring as much points, if that makes any sense. Because they do have a new defensive coordinator. The same coordinator that beat the shit out of Tom Brady in Super Bowl.
Steve Spags.
You know what I'm saying?
Spags is back.
They have a new defensive coordinator. So I think that they won't need to score as much. They won't need to score 40 points and still lose. You know what I'm saying? Hopefully those days are fucking over. Hopefully those days are over. So I like the Chiefs. I love the Chiefs actually going into this season.
Oh, bro, the Chiefs. I have the Chiefs. Well, you know, we'll probably talk about this later on, like when we finish up all these little series we're doing, but they're definitely going to be top seed for me in the AFC.
All right. And to finish this episode, we're going to go ahead and do the last team. We've done 5 so far, just to recap. We've done Patriots. We had a question for the Steelers. We had a question for the Browns. We had a question for the Chargers. We just touched on the Chiefs. Now, the question I have is for this team. They look like a contender. And this is the question I have. They look like a contender. They have an elite quarterback like contending teams do. But I don't actually think they're a contender. I think they're a pretender in the highest fucking degree. That team I'm talking about, and that quarterback I'm talking about, that organization I'm talking about is the Indianapolis Colts. The Indianapolis Colts will fool you. They have all the ingredients that you need for a contending team to have. Good young quarterback, fresh offensive mind coach, quote unquote offensive genius, a owner who's willing to spend whatever, a lot of talent. They just drafted 2 All-Pros.
They had arguably the best offensive line of football.
Arguably the best offensive line. They did. He got sacked the least he's ever been, and he got sacked out of anybody and any quarterback. He got sacked the least all year. Like, he barely got hit, which is why they were so good. But they still started 1-5. They had to win 11 games in a row or whatever to get to the playoffs. Yeah, they beat the Texans, but I think that was more about they played a team that they knew. What happened when they played a good team? They got their ass stomped out. Like, you know how hard it is to beat the Chiefs? Do you know how hard it is to beat the Chiefs when you only score 13 points? It's hard enough when you do it with 25 or 26. You're going to put up 13? You're going to have 3 straight drives where you go 3 and out? How you as an elite quarterback let that happen? And the reason why I feel like they're pretenders and the reason why I'm starting to change my opinion on Andrew Luck is this not the first time that this has happened. When it happened with Chuck Pagano, yeah, it was Chuck Pagano. That guy's a fucking idiot. And he was. No disrespect. He's a very, very good human being. But my God, was he dumb. My God, was he a fucking dumbass. But this is not the first time it happened under Andrew Luck. Like, I watch the Colts. I like the Colts. I follow the Colts. I'm on their fucking SB Nation website. I'm in the forum. I'm involved with that fan base as if I'm a Colt head. I'm a Cowboy head, but that's my AFC team, quote unquote. So I'm not a super Colts fan, but I'm informed enough to know, and I've seen enough bad losses by Andrew Luck that I could come to this conclusion. You see his stats: 40 touchdowns, 9 interceptions. Everything looks like an elite quarterback. He has everything. He's 6'5", 240, big, accurate, smart. But then he'll throw a fucking dud out of nowhere. He'll throw an interception out of nowhere. How are you 6'5" and you get your ball batted at the line continually? There's just things about his game in the most inopportune times that continue to show up. So
this man is really, like, everybody pegged him to be Peyton Jr., but he was really Brett Favre Jr.
He's really Brett Favre Jr. He's been called, like, you got to think about it. He's been called the best QB prospect since John Elway. That's who he was supposed to be. And he's not Peyton Manning. He is Brett Favre. He will do some stupid shit, bro. Out of fucking nowhere, bro. Like,
you know, I wanted to defend him, bro, but, you know, because their defense had an excuse because Malik Hooker got hurt, and he was a big part of why their defense was actually pretty solid last year. But there was no excuse for their offense. They had everybody.
They had everybody.
Like, the offensive line was there. They had Luck. They had T.Y. They had everybody.
Bro, but that's the point I'm trying to make, bro. That's the point.
Yeah.
That's the point I'm trying to make is that.
Damn, Andy.
Are we still calling them contenders? Do we just automatically put them in the contender range? What about them shows that they're contenders? Like, I feel like no team like the Colts get a pass.
Well, when you look at the Colts, though, one of the things, and they suffer from, well, I don't want to say they suffer from, because this year is actually kind of interesting a little bit in their division, but their division before was like cake, bro. You remember, like, before how the AFC South looked? Like, now the AFC South is a little different.
And that's the crazy part. They weren't always winning 12 or 13 games in the AFC South. Who did he have to beat? Remember, he's been in the league since 2012. Deshaun Watson just came in the league 2 years ago.
Right.
He didn't always have to play Deshaun Watson.
This man had Blake Bortles.
He had
Blaine Gabbert.
Blaine Gabbert. He's supposed to be scared of Marcus Mariota. Where's the competition?
Jake Locker, maybe?
Jake Locker? So he hasn't even been able, and the Colts haven't even been able to feast on a bad division. They've won their division. Sometimes they'll go 5-6, 5-1, and 6-0. But that's just because their division's so bad that they win the division, and then they'll be 9-7 because they don't win any other games outside of their division. So that's another reason. Like, we just automatically put the Colts in that range. That we automatically put them in that class. I don't think they deserve it anymore. Like, they got to earn it from me. You know what I'm saying? Just because you look like one and you put on a contender leather jacket and you drive a contender fucking big Hemi and you got a Hellcat like a contender doesn't mean the guy that's driving the seat is actually a fucking contender, bro. That's a guy that's overcompensating. We call that a guy that drives a BMW. The Colts are the BMW of the fucking NFL. The Colts are the BMW driver of the NFL, in my opinion. That's just my rant, and that's my question. Are they really a contender? I say no. What about you?
When you look at what the Colts did last year, and you know, Herb came from a place of passion. Y'all can't see it here. We're not doing the video pods yet. I could see it in Herb's face. Herb was speaking from a place of being plugged in.
But before you even go, think about this. The game against the Chiefs, 10 penalties, 6 pre-snap. Like, that's just, you can't blame Chuck Pagano no more. There used to be a Chuck Pagano thing, that they were undisciplined.
Right.
Frank Reich is not Chuck Pagano.
Not at all.
But they're still doing the same shit. You know what I'm saying? Like, I haven't really believed in the Colts since Bruce Arians was there. I wish Bruce Arians were actually their coach. I think they'd won a Super Bowl by now. They chose to keep Chuck Pagano. And I get it. You can't fire a guy that just had fucking cancer, bro. That just looks crazy.
Yeah. It does. It does.
That looks crazy. So I get it.
It's like doing like the moral sort of right thing kind of fucked them in the end because Andrew with Arians looked good that first season.
The best he's ever been, in my opinion.
Yeah,
but you put up 13 points against a 31st ranked defense. Like, you go 1-10 on 3rd and 4th down. That is the most damning stat. No elite quarterback against the fucking 31st ranked defense goes 1-10 on 3rd and 4th down against the Chiefs. What more proof do you need?
Andy, man. I like Andrew Luck, man.
I love Andrew Luck. I love everything about him. But I'm just stopped giving him and that team the benefit of the doubt until they actually do something. And there's nothing wrong with that.
No, I mean, it's fair to say, dog. I mean, we could talk about how Andrew Luck looks in the regular season. He's like one of those guys who always looks good. But man, when you bring up the playoff stats, when you bring up, I forgot about that one.
45-7 against the Patriots in 2015. 45-7
in an AFC championship.
In an AFC championship game, bro.
But here's the thing, though, Herb. Here's the crazy thing about the Colts. I'm sorry to cut you off. It's just like the thing with Andrew Luck is, bro. He's one of those guys who's like. He has those embarrassing performances, and then he has those performances like that comeback against the Chiefs.
In the same playoffs.
In the same playoffs, bro.
In the same playoffs.
You know, I think they were down like 21 or something along those lines, bro. He comes back. He's had a couple other like spectacular comeback performances. So it's just like, Andrew, like who are you really, bro? Like, show us who you are this year, bro. You know what I'm saying? Like, you know what? I'm going to say this, man. I'm going to go out on a limb here because my man Herb called them pretenders. If my man Andy Luck can stay healthy, because they're talking about, you know, this guy, there's always something going on with this nigga, bro. But if he can stay healthy, their team stays relatively healthy, I give him a shot. I give him a shot to make it through the AFC, bro.
All right, shit, bro. You are on that boat alone. You are the flag for the Couch Bros, bro. I'll let you wave that flag, bro.
I'm a root for him, man. You know what I'm saying? Because I'm going to say this, man. I liked a lot of things that I saw from the Colts last year. So defensively, Darius Leonard, he's gonna be the one to anchor their team. You know what I'm saying? They get Malik Hooker back, hopefully healthy. You know what I'm saying? I mean, Andrew Luck started off the season.
You could end it right there, but you just grasping at straws right now, bro.
No. It's just, you know, I'm looking at Andrew Luck's stats here, bro, and I'm thinking to myself,
it looks cute. I just told you, there's no stats. Like if it's a stats game, you're gonna win that. That's the point. That's the entire point of the discussion I made, is everything about it looks exceptional. If I look at that stats, I look at the touchdown to interception ratio, I look at the completion percentage, I look at the record, I look at the road record, everything looks elite. And then they just throw another fucking dud.
You know, the problem with the Colts is, man, it's just like everything's there, but it's like that mental hurdle. They just can't get over that shit.
Man, and that's the point I'm trying to make. So I want to end it on that because we damn near at an hour now. And before we go, I just want to go ahead and get our dark horses. And this is just for the AFC. Your two dark horses. And we don't know, this is fresh. We don't know, we didn't talk about this. So your dark horses, sir.
Oh, man. So my first dark horse, I'm going to just throw it out there. We're going to make this quick since we've already been talking so long. I'm going to throw the Jaguars. I think the Jags are a dark horse. I'm going to say why. Number one, they still have a championship caliber defense. You can look up that roster. We don't really have time to dig into it. It's not that I think, you know, Nick Foles is going to carry the Eagles juice with him. But I just think, I mean, you got Leonard Fournette. They're gonna run the ball. They have their receivers. They don't have any super name receivers. I mean, maybe D.D. Westbrook might break out. Who knows? You know, he's a fantasy name. But I think Nick Foles is good enough to kind of just be a game manager and carry that. Bro, these niggas were in the AFC Championship with Blake Bortles up 20-10 on the Patriots, bro, and they lost that game because their quarterback was trash. You don't think Nick Foles could have carried it? Nick Foles already proved he could beat the Patriots.
Man, listen, I'll do this. Nick Foles without Doug Peterson is a completely different quarterback. So
he has shown that in the past, and that's the big question. That's why they're a dark horse.
Fair enough.
You know what I'm saying? That's why they're not a contender. If Nick Foles can show that with another system, he can be a competent quarterback, can still be clutch. They're a dark horse. And my second dark horse, it's painful for me to say this, dog. The Jets.
That's hilarious.
The Jets.
You are just off the fucking rails today, bro. My goodness.
I have the Jets as a dark horse, man. You know what it is? I'm gonna keep it short with the Jets, bro, because we could talk about it. I like Darnold, bro. I don't think too many people are high on Darnold like that. I like him, bro. I think he's gonna be a lot better this year, dog. And Le'Veon Bell is going to have a lot to do with that. Their defense is going to be a little better. They added some things to the defensive line. I feel good about it. I think Gase and Darnold are going to be good together, bro.
I do, and I'm not going to call you crazy because I think Gase and Darnold are going to be good too. I just think they're a year away from actually being what they're going to be. And my two dark horses, number one, I'm going with the Texans. The only thing stopping the Texans from being a dominant team is the worst O-line outside of the Cardinals I've ever seen. Deshaun Watson got sacked 62 times last year, bro. That's unconscionable. Like, that doesn't even make sense. The most hit quarterback in the past 2 years that damn near, he he's David Carr-ish when it comes to getting hit. And it's ironic that it's the same fucking team, bro. You think that you saw this happen in 2001 or 2002. You think you would fucking
start the
fix
franchise,
it.
dog.
You started the franchise as an expansion team with this shit. You would think you would never, you of all the teams would say, no, we're never going to let that happen again. You let it happen again with the best player that's ever played for your fucking team, bro, outside of Andre Johnson. And my second dark horse team is another team from the division that we talked about. I like the AFC North. So that means I really like the Ravens. It sounds crazy, but I just think that they just know how to beat teams. What that does in the playoffs is on Lamar Jackson. You know what I'm saying? It's 100% on Lamar Jackson. So those are my two dark horse teams.
You know what's hilarious about your dark horse teams, Herb? And I have it in my notes right here. I originally had 4 dark horses. Those were my other 2.
Yeah,
I just
for
cut. The only reason I didn't go with them, I was like, you know what? The Texans and the Ravens made the playoffs last year. I'm gonna go with my other 2. But those were my other 2 dark horses. I had 4.
Nah, like real talk.
I like the Texans and the Ravens too, bro.
I like them a lot. You know
that defense, bro, always knows.
They just got Earl Thomas, so you're not gonna pass on them. You try to pass on them, good fucking luck, bro. Good fucking luck. But yeah, I think it was a good episode. We're definitely gonna check out. We're an hour in, and you can tell like when me and Rod get to talking about football, we go on for hours. So we're gonna cut it short. Next episode is gonna do the same episode but with NFC teams. So anything you want to say, Rod, before we check out?
I'd like to thank everybody who's going to take the time to listen to this. We enjoy doing this. We enjoy doing this every time we do it, and we look forward to doing the NFC teams next go around. It's your boy Rod, man, signing out.
And you already know it is Herb, Couch Bros checking out. Deuces.